I thought I knew what family meant. My wife, Sarah, our 4-year-old daughter, Lily Sunday dinners at my parents' house in Portland, Oregon. My older brother Marcus and I were close, or so I believed. His wife Diane always smiled at family gatherings, always brought the perfect casserole, always seemed pleasant enough. But there was something about her that made my gut tighten whenever she looked at me. Something I could not quite name. I ignored it for years. That was my first mistake. Because the day Diane showed up at my front door with an envelope in her hand and pure hatred burning in her eyes, I realized I had been right to trust my instincts all along. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your location in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe, because this story takes a turn you will not see coming. Trust me, what started as an accusation against me ended up ripping my entire family apart in ways none of us could have imagined. It was a Tuesday morning in late September. I was working from home, sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop, open reviewing code for a project deadline. Sarah had taken Lily to preschool. The doorbell rang. When I opened it, Diane stood there, her face flushed red, her hands shaking. She did not say hello. She did not wait for an invitation. She shoved a manila envelope directly into my chest. Inside were photographs, 5 of them printed on glossy paper. Each one showed me at Laurelhurst Park talking with a woman I had not seen in years. Amanda. We were smiling. In one photo, a little boy stood between us. He looked about 6 years old with dark hair and a wide grin. Diane's voice cut through the air like broken glass. You have been lying to everyone, Elvis. You have a son. You have been cheating on Sarah, and I am going to make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. I stared at her, completely blindsided. What are you talking about? That is Amanda. We went to college together at the University of Washington. I ran into her at the park 3 weeks ago. We talked for maybe 30 minutes. That is her son, not mine. Diane laughed, bitter and sharp. Do not insult my intelligence. That child looks exactly like you. Same nose, same eyes, same smile. I have been watching you, Elvis. I hired someone to follow you because I knew something was off. My blood went cold. You hired a private investigator to follow me. For 2 weeks, she said, crossing her arms. And I found exactly what I was looking for. You are a liar and a cheat, and I will not let you destroy this family the way you have destroyed your own marriage. I tried to stay calm, but my hands were shaking. Diane, I have never cheated on Sarah, not once. Amanda is just an old friend. I told Sarah about running into her the same day it happened. There is nothing to hide. But Diane was not listening. She stepped closer, her voice low and venomous. That boy is 6 years old, Elvis. 6. Do the math. You knew Amanda 7 years ago. You were with her before you married Sarah. Were you not? We were friends, just friends. I never dated her, never slept with her, never had any kind of relationship beyond friendship. Diane pulled out her phone and showed me more pictures. Different angles, different days. It looked like her investigator had been following me for longer than 2 weeks. You are going to tell Sarah the truth, or I will. And if you refuse, we are going to settle this once and for all. We are doing a DNA test. You, me, that boy, and the truth. I felt my chest tighten with anger and humiliation. Fine, let us do the test. Let us prove that you have lost your mind and wasted your money on some paranoid conspiracy theory. Diane smiled, cold and satisfied. Good, I will arrange everything, and when the results come back, you will have nowhere left to hide. She turned and walked away, leaving me standing in my doorway holding photographs of an innocent conversation that had somehow been twisted into evidence of betrayal. I called Marcus immediately. My hands were still shaking as I waited for him to pick up. When he finally answered, his voice sounded tired. Elvis, what is going on? Diane just texted me that she confronted you. Marcus, your wife, is accusing me of having a secret child. She hired a private investigator to follow me. She ambushed me at my house. This is insane. There was a long pause. She is just stressed about work right now. She has been under a lot of pressure. Stressed? I could not believe what I was hearing. She is accusing me of destroying my marriage and lying to my wife, and you are telling me she is stressed. I am sorry, Elvis. I will talk to her. But if she wants to do a DNA test, maybe you should just do it. It will clear everything up. I felt the ground shift beneath me. My own brother was not defending me. He was not shutting this down. He was letting his wife humiliate me, and he was acting like it was reasonable. Marcus, do you believe her? Do you actually think I would do something like this? Another pause. I do not know what to think, Elvis. Just do the test. Prove her wrong. He hung up before I could respond. I stood there in my kitchen staring at my phone, feeling the first crack form in a relationship I thought was unbreakable. Diane moved fast. Within 3 days, she had contacted Amanda through social media, told her some vague story about needing to verify family connections for medical reasons, and convinced her to bring her son Ethan to a DNA testing facility in downtown Portland. Amanda agreed, confused but cooperative. She had no idea what Diane was really after. The appointment was scheduled for the following Monday at 10 in the morning. Diane insisted that Marcus be there to witness everything. She wanted him to see me get exposed. Sarah came with me, her face tight with worry. She believed me, but I could see the fear in her eyes. What if Diane was right? What if there was something I had forgotten? Some drunken mistake from years ago that I had buried? I had no such doubts. I knew the truth. But standing in that sterile white waiting room, watching Diane check her watch every 30 seconds, I felt like I was on trial. Amanda arrived with Ethan a few minutes later. She looked older than I remembered, her face lined with exhaustion, but she smiled when she saw me. Elvis, it has been forever. I still do not totally understand why we are doing this, but if it helps, I am happy to. I wanted to explain, but Diane cut in before I could speak. We just need to make sure there are no surprises in the family tree. You understand? Amanda nodded clearly, still confused. Ethan clung to her side, quiet and shy. He had dark hair, brown eyes, and a small dimple in his left cheek. He looked nothing like me. But Diane stared at him like she was solving a puzzle, her eyes narrowed with certainty. The lab technician called us back one at a time. They swabbed the inside of my cheek, then Ethan's. The whole process took less than 5 minutes. When we walked back into the waiting room, Diane was pacing, her arms crossed tightly over her chest. Marcus stood in the corner staring at his phone, refusing to make eye contact with me. The technician told us results would be ready in 2 weeks. Diane smiled. Perfect. I will make sure everyone is there when we open them. My stomach dropped. Everyone? Your parents? My parents? Anyone who needs to see the truth. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab Marcus by the shoulders and shake him until he woke up and saw what his wife was doing. But I just nodded, swallowed my rage, and walked out with Sarah's hand in mine. The next 2 weeks were torture. Diane spread rumors through the extended family, posting vague messages on Facebook about truth and lies and secrets coming to light. My parents called from Arizona, worried and confused. My mom cried on the phone, asking me if there was anything I needed to tell her. My dad was silent, which somehow felt worse. At work, I could not focus. I am a software engineer at a small startup in Beaverton, and I had 3 major projects due. But every time I sat down to code, my mind drifted back to Diane's smug smile, to Marcus's silence, to the possibility that my entire family now thought I was a liar. Sarah held it together better than I did. She never once questioned me, never once asked if there was any chance Diane could be right. But I could see the strain in her face, the way she flinched every time her phone buzzed with another message from a concerned relative. Lily noticed too. She was only 4, but she was perceptive. She started asking why I was sad, why Mommy looked worried, why we were not going to Uncle Marcus's house anymore. I did not know how to answer her. How do you explain betrayal to a child? Marcus avoided me completely. He stopped answering my texts. When I called, it went straight to voicemail. I left message after message asking him to talk to me, to at least hear my side, but he never responded. It felt like losing a limb. My whole life, Marcus had been my best friend, my protector, my ally. Now he was a stranger. By the time the results came back, I was exhausted. Diane had orchestrated a family meeting at her and Marcus's house in Lake Oswego. She invited my parents, her parents, Sarah, Marcus, and even a few aunts and uncles. It was not a private moment of truth. It was a public execution. I almost refused to go. Sarah begged me to just get it over with. Once everyone sees the results, this ends. Diane will have to apologize. Your family will have to admit they were wrong. Just get through this one horrible afternoon, and then we can move on. So we went. We dropped Lily off at Sarah's sister's house and drove to Lake Oswego in silence. When we arrived, the living room was already full. My mom sat on the couch, her face pale and drawn. My dad stood by the fireplace, his jaw clenched. Marcus was in the corner again, staring at the floor. Diane stood in the center of the room, holding a white envelope. She looked triumphant. Thank you all for coming. I know this has been difficult, but the truth matters. Family matters. And we deserve to know what we are really dealing with. She tore open the envelope with a flourish, pulling out the folded paper inside. She scanned it quickly, her eyes moving across the page. Then she stopped. Her face went white. She read it again, her lips moving silently. Well, my dad said, his voice gruff. What does it say? Diane's hands were shaking. She looked up at me, then at Marcus, then back at the paper. Elvis is not the father. Relief flooded through me. I felt Sarah squeeze my hand. My mom let out a small sob, but Diane was not finished. However, she continued, her voice barely a whisper, there is another finding. The room went silent. Diane's eyes filled with tears as she read aloud. Marcus shares genetic markers with Ethan. The test indicates they are half-siblings. Nobody moved, nobody breathed. It took a moment for the words to sink in. My mom spoke first, her voice trembling. What does that mean? Diane looked like she might collapse. It means Marcus and Ethan have the same father. All eyes turned to my dad. He stood frozen by the fireplace, his face drained of color. My mom stood up slowly, her hand pressed against her chest. James. My dad did not speak. He just stared at the floor, his shoulders sagging under the weight of a secret he could no longer carry. The silence in that room was suffocating. My mom's voice broke it sharp and desperate. James, answer me. Is this true? My dad finally looked up. His eyes were red, his face twisted with shame. Helen, I am so sorry. My mom staggered backward, grabbing the arm of the couch to steady herself. Who is she? Who is the mother? Diane was still staring at the paper, her face ashen. I could see her trying to piece it together, trying to understand how her plan to destroy me had just detonated her entire world. My dad cleared his throat, his voice hoarse. Her name is Amanda. She worked at my company 7 years ago. She was an intern. It was a mistake. It only happened a few times. I did not know she was pregnant. I swear I did not know about the boy." My mom's knees buckled. She collapsed onto the couch, her hands covering her face. The sound of her crying filled the room. My dad stepped toward her, but she held up a hand, stopping him. Do not come near me." I turned to look at Diane. She was shaking her mouth, opening and closing like she was trying to form words but could not. Marcus finally moved, stepping toward her, but she jerked away from him. "You knew," she whispered. "You knew he cheated before, did you not?" Marcus froze. "Diane, that was 10 years ago. It was different. He told me in confidence. I promised I would not say anything." Diane's face twisted with rage and heartbreak. "You kept his secret. You let me walk into your family thinking they were decent people, and you knew your father was a liar. You knew, and you said nothing." "Diane, please." "No." She stepped back, holding the DNA results against her chest like a shield. "I wanted to protect this family. I wanted to find the truth. And all I found was that every single one of you is a liar." She turned and ran out of the room. We heard the front door slam a moment later. Marcus stood there staring at the empty space where she had been, his face blank with shock. I should have felt vindicated. I should have felt relief. But all I felt was a deep, cold anger. I turned to face the room, my voice steady and controlled. "Diane spent 2 weeks dragging my name through the mud. She hired someone to follow me. She told half the family I was a cheater. She turned this into a circus. And, for what? So she could prove she was right about something, anything." I looked at Marcus. "You let her do it. You did not defend me. You did not stand up for me. You just stood there and let her humiliate me in front of everyone." Marcus opened his mouth, but no words came out. I did not wait for an answer. I took Sarah's hand and walked toward the door. "We are leaving. You all need to figure out your own mess, but I am done being the scapegoat for this family's dysfunction." Sarah and I walked out into the cool October air. I could hear my mom sobbing inside, could hear my dad trying to apologize, could hear the chaos unraveling behind us. But I did not look back. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. A week later, Marcus called me. His voice was flat, emotionless. "Diane filed for divorce." I did not know what to say. Part of me wanted to feel sorry for him. Part of me wanted to tell him he deserved it. Instead, I just listened. "She said she cannot trust me anymore. She said I should have told her about Dad years ago. She said if I could keep that secret, I could keep any secret." He paused. "She is not wrong. Marcus, I am sorry your marriage is falling apart, but you need to understand something. You chose to protect Dad over protecting me. You let Diane destroy my reputation because you did not want to rock the boat. That is on you." He was quiet for a long time. "I know. I am sorry, Elvis. I really am." "I believe you, but sorry does not undo the damage." We hung up not long after that. I have talked to Marcus a few times since then, but it is not the same. We are not close anymore. Maybe we will be again someday. Maybe not. My parents separated. My mom moved to San Diego to live with her sister. My dad stayed in Portland trying to reach out to Amanda and Ethan. Amanda refused every attempt. She told him she did not want him in her son's life, that Ethan was happy and stable and did not need the disruption. My dad accepted it, though I know it eats at him. Diane moved out of the Lake Oswego house and into an apartment closer to downtown. I heard through the family grapevine that she quit her job and started seeing a therapist. I do not know if she ever apologized to anyone. I do not know if she feels guilty. Honestly, I do not care anymore. 3 months after everything fell apart, Sarah and I were sitting on our back porch watching Lily play in the yard. The leaves were turning gold and red, and the air smelled like rain. Sarah leaned her head on my shoulder. "How are you doing?" she asked. I thought about it. Better? I think I am better. And I was. The first few weeks after the DNA results were brutal. I was angry all the time, replaying every moment, every accusation, every betrayal. But slowly I started to let it go. Not because I forgave everyone, but because holding on to it was killing me. Sarah and I started going to couples therapy. Not because our marriage was broken, but because we wanted to make sure it stayed strong. We talked about boundaries, about protecting our little family from the chaos of extended family drama. We talked about trust, about what it means to stand by someone even when the world is telling you not to. I started spending more time with Lily. Every Saturday we go to the park, not Laurelhurst somewhere new. We feed the ducks, we play on the swings, and I remind myself what really matters. Not proving myself to people who do not trust me. Not winning some imaginary battle with Diane or my dad or anyone else. Just being present for the people who love me without conditions. I still see Marcus occasionally. We meet for coffee every few weeks. It is awkward, stilted, nothing like it used to be. But we are trying. I do not know if we will ever get back what we lost. Part of me does not want to. The brother I thought I had would have defended me. The brother I actually have stayed silent. I am learning to accept the difference. My relationship with my dad is distant now. I do not hate him, but I do not trust him either. He made choices that hurt a lot of people, and those choices have consequences. I have learned that forgiveness does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means accepting what happened and deciding how much space to give it in your life. Right now, I need space. I learned something important through all of this. The people who try to expose you, who dig and pry and demand proof, they are usually the ones hiding something themselves. Diane was so desperate to find dirt on me because she could not face the dirt in her own life. She could not admit that her marriage was falling apart, that Marcus had been lying to her for years, that the family she married into was just as flawed as any other. She wanted the truth, and she got it, just not the truth she expected. I do not know what the future holds for any of us. My mom is rebuilding her life in California. My dad is alone in Portland trying to make amends with people who may never forgive him. Diane is somewhere out there, hopefully healing, hopefully learning that tearing others down does not build you up. Marcus is figuring out who he is without her. And me, I am here in my house in Portland with my wife and my daughter and a life that is smaller but stronger than it used to be. I do not need a big family anymore. I do not need approval or validation from people who do not know how to give it. I just need the people who show up, who stand beside me, who choose me even when it is hard. Sarah showed me that. When everyone else doubted, she believed. When everyone else whispered, she stood firm. That is what family really is. Not the people who share your blood, but the people who choose you every single day. Diane tried to destroy me with the truth. Instead, the truth set me free. It showed me who I could count on and who I could not. It showed me that integrity is not about being perfect. It is about being honest even when honesty costs you everything. I will never let anyone make me prove my worth again, because the people who truly love you will never ask you to. So here is my question for you. Have you ever been accused of something you did not do? Have you ever had someone close to you turn against you based on lies or assumptions? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this story resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that the truth always comes out even when it hurts, and that protecting your peace is more important than winning every battle. Take care of yourselves, and remember the people who matter will always believe in you.